Could you imagine if someday they made solar panels so flexible and so resilient that they could be part of your awning? So when you roll it out, you could expand how much solar capabilities you have? How's it going? Welcome to another All About RVs. I'm Jared Gillis, and today we're looking at flexible solar panels, and we have some recommendations for you on these flexible solar panels, and then I also have some resources for you that help you if you're trying to decide what type of solar panel that works best for your situation. So let's look at the two panels that we've had for a while. We have two flexible solar panels. This one's by Lensun, and they're actually semi-flexible. Some are more flexible than others, and this one you can bend to about 10 degrees on a rounded surface. Anything past that and you're gonna risk breaking these because flexible solar panels usually are a little bit more fragile than your traditional solar panel that has a frame around it, glass on top of it. But this one has the ETFE coating on the front of it. There's two different types of coatings that you'll have on flexible solar panels. Usually it's the ETFE or the PET. The PET is usually more of a glossy shine on the front of it, and over time it'll haze as it breaks down and wears down. Compared to this, is supposed to be very strong and very resilient. It stands up well against salt water, so you'll see this in a lot of marine applications on maybe sailboats or other kind of curved surfaces where it's going to be in harsh environments. The backing on this one is also a fiberglass backing board, which gives it that semi-flexible of the flexible solar panels. Also, you're gonna see typically grommets in the corners, maybe some more on the edges depending on the panel that you have, but grommets are traditionally what you see on flexible solar panels for mounting. Now, as far as the connections for the leads and being able to connect it in, it has your typical MC4 connectors that make it really easy for connecting up, that are mounted on the face of the panel compared to on traditional solar panels, they'd be mounted on the back because a traditional solar panel is going to have at least brackets that are going to hold it off the surface for mounting. Compared to this, you're going to have it usually conformed to some kind of a surface or a rounded surface. And these are going to be more of a surface mount rather than a mount that's going to stand it off of the surface. This is a 100-watt panel, so a typical size, and I just checked the price this morning. It runs for $200, which is more than a traditional solar panel would cost. So why would you buy this and where would you use it compared to a traditional solar panel? Because these have a specific use compared to a traditional solar panel that's going to just be flat and it can't bend to a conformed surface. So I imagine you could see where this is going. We actually don't use it to its full potential. We end up putting like a rail on the side because we use these to tilt towards the sun and be able to put out as an additional set of solar panels if we're parked in the shade, or if we wanted to boost how much power we had coming in. We'll connect this into our system to harvest more sun or more energy from the sun. So let's talk about where I would consider using flexible solar panels. So obviously, if you have a surface that is curved, say like an Airstream or an R-Pod or a tab trailer, where you want to keep that slick exterior, keep things very aerodynamic and streamlined, a flexible solar panel might fit that type of a project. Also, if weight is a huge concern, these flexible solar panels are usually half the weight of a traditional solar panel. So let's say a traditional solar panel will weigh in around 17 pounds when I weighed the ones that we have on ours, and they're also a 100-watt solar panel. Compared to these flexible 100-watt solar panels, they're weighing in around 7 pounds. In that same thought, they are extremely thin. If you look at the profile of them, there's just not much to them. Actually, the thickest part of the panel is going to be where your leads come out of, the box where they usually have the bypass diodes and all that. But that's going to be the thickest part of the panel. The rest of it is very, very thin. So those are the reasons why you might consider a flexible panel for a project. If you're worried about the profile, how it conforms to the shape that you're putting it onto, and the weight, if those are the biggest contributors factors, then a flexible solar panel might fit that project. Now, one thing that I noticed with our panels, it might be the color, it might be the fiberglass backing, but they tend to warm up a little bit more than our traditional solar panels. When a solar cell warms up, it's not going to be as efficient. You're not going to be getting as much power from it. It wasn't a lot, it was 5 or 6 degrees, but that's with having these flexible solar panels tilted with a lot of air gap behind them. So if you were to have them mounted on a surface, all the heat, or the majority of the heat, would have to dissipate through the surface of the panel rather than being able to dissipate some of the heat from underneath, also like a traditional panel. Our panels have worked well. We haven't had any issues with them, but I do know that flexible solar panels can be a little bit more on the fragile end. Maybe it's that temptation to want to see how far you can flex it. And then once you flex it and you hear that cracking and you have little fractures in those cells or the connections, it's greatly harmed the efficiency, and if that panel will even work past that. But I do know there are people out there that have had great success with flexible solar panels, like Brian with RV with Tito. He's done a ton on flexible solar panels. He has a lot of different kinds, and he has had great success. It appears like he's had great success from his solar panels. Brian's got a great YouTube channel. He's technically minded, great attention to detail, and he's a craftsman. And because of those 3 things is probably why he's had success with flexible solar panels and been able to use them for years. But when you read reviews out there of flexible solar panels, you see a higher rate of failure. And I imagine a contributing factor to that is people overflexing or bending them too much, and then they break. But for us and our flexible solar panels, we haven't had any issue. They've performed as we would have hoped, and exactly like we expected them to. So we'll see how they do over the years, but I'll put a link down in the description to these flexible solar panels, and you can check those out if you want to see current prices. I'm also going to put a link in the description to RV with Tito's, Brian's guide to RV solar panels. So a lot of great information in there, something you can download and check out later. So I think that's going to do it for today. If you want to see more videos about RVing, hit that subscribe button. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you in the next video. Funny thing about these are just pieces of aluminum. This was leftover aluminum from when we put that slide topper on Keep Your Daydreams rig, the original Ginger rig, not what are they calling the new one? Is it like Megalodon Ginger? It was before Grand Ginger, so just original Ginger. I just cut it up and we use it as rails on this. I don't think they're calling it Megalodon Ginger. What is it?